Greetings to you all, and of course, I welcome you to this broadcast. I'm about to retire to bed while still working. I, I've given this time, I've given them time to at least say something, but it is obviously not forthcoming. As you join, please indicate to me that you hear me clearly and you're also seeing me clearly so that we can have this discourse. Very important because I would not allow this situation to be lost in what is called election campaigning, and I would not allow anyone to suggest that this is something that we should just be silent about and move on from. Thank you. Thank you. 2 months have passed since the 23rd of April. It's been more than 2 months when Adriana was kidnapped, when Adriana was murdered and put into a pool. 2 months have gone by, and I have seen in 2 months how evil the supporters of the People's Pathetic Party can be. That there's a political group in this country that's vying for your vote. They're saying to you that you should elect them after what you saw on the 23rd and the 24th of April. They're suggesting that what happened to Adriana Young and what happened to the young men and women of our society who are being held in prison, who before the courts as terrorists when they responded to what we all knew to be a lie. The PPP is saying to you that you should vote for them. You should put them back into that position to do or allow to have worse happen to you. For the first time in Ghana's history, there is an attorney general who has the nerve, the gall, the temerity to say to us that if someone in response to a situation of Adriana's, if someone in anger upon seeing a young lady who they know was murdered, if someone in response to that were to say within themselves, whether a conscious conversation or not, a group of people, that they're not going to kill anybody, they're not going to go out there and harm anyone as was done to Adriana. Instead, they were burning tires as a form of protest. And an attorney general will say that that amounts to terrorism. You are equivalent to Osama bin Laden, Hamas, and other groups. It tells me that for the PPP to return to tell you now that you should vote for them, it speaks a lot to what they expect in reference to Guyanese standard and Guyanese, the love that we have for each other. As a father, I still ponder. I still have many sleepless nights. I still wonder, how does Sir Brian feel? I know that as a father, I cannot allow myself to be comfortable in this situation. As time progressed, I took careful note of the tone of PPP supporters. When y'all have the gall to disrespect Amicia, to disrespect Sir Brian Young, to make a mockery as Jennifer Ali would have been doing, and Jaglio, Irfan Ali, Irfan's wife, none of y'all would come forward to condemn Jennifer Ali as the for the hooligan she is, and describe her as a complete hooligan, racist trash. You didn't do that. But when the sham of some acid being thrown on school children, sprinkles, you rush to take these boys to your house and the teacher, and you never came back to say that the men in the photograph, which I saw, I know, 2 years ago, so they were in jail. You didn't rush to condemn Guyana Daily News. You didn't do that for showing that image of those men on motorcycles and they were not the people who did anything. You didn't rush to tell us that the police would have charged the love of this woman, I think it is her husband, whoever, for sprinkling this substance, this dangerous substance on her. No. Instead, you chose to take the route of racist, divisive, and destructive actions to suggest that they were African descendants, and so the PvP supporters must be clear, come back to us and hide because this is a race war now regarding Adriana's situation. But Jennifer Ali, we talk about Adriana has a hole bigger than whatever else it is, and the wife of Afan Ali can come and condemn this. So I watched all of what is called the vitriol, the bad things, the nasty things being said about this, about a child who's dead, about a mother and a father who were grieving. And I waited to see what you do at the funeral. I waited to see whether you're going to have the burial ground, the cemetery, prepared in a manner that would speak to your having concern for this family. I waited to see whether the entrance to Virgin Regent's tarmac would have been prepared by Ed Gill, the Minister of Public Works, where he will instruct people to ensure that walkway was proper. Instead, I saw Amika and others having to petition for loads of sand because obviously you wouldn't do it. You didn't put crusher on or anything there because they didn't deserve that. So instead of seeking to demonstrate to Guyanese that you feel hurt for your situation, you all in the PP sought to punish this family by withholding our resources. Our resources. You sought to show them that if they want to bad talk you and speak ill about you all, you are going to show them that you're going to punish them. You all think that this campaigning, this election period make me go quiet and forget about Adriana. I will not forget. I'm telling you that it doesn't matter where I go, how high I go, how low I am in this life. I will never forget what you did to that girl. Never. Never will I forget how you treated the family. And I want anyone who wants to say, as you're hopping out to support the PPP, you're a spokesperson for them. One by one, ask Kevin Lorimer where he is. One by one. This is an 11-year-old child. This is not a grown woman who's ever said anything against y'all. This is somebody who was speaking, and even then, but I'm saying, this is not somebody who's doing Facebook posts like I am, describing you for what you really are. She didn't do that. She never had a TikTok page, as far as I'm aware of, or some social media presence where she was attacking Barrett. Of course, when he hurt his feelings, all of his ticks, I call it TICKS. Your ticks, your parasites, because you're sucking him just to get contracts. That's what you're faithful to. So I didn't see any of the ticks come out just to say, well, okay, let's attack her because she's doing it. She didn't do anything. She was just a girl. And what did you demons choose to do? You chose to punish an entire family, to show the world, and punish us who attended the funeral, to show us that you're not going to fix any road, you're not going to fix any walkway. So if they didn't have the sand, you'd have to walk through mud. just to get into the ground, into the Virgin Ocean tarmac. You didn't provide any tent, nothing, because you had to punish the family. And while you're doing that, you want to show us that you're good enough to serve this country. You're good enough to lead this nation. You're good enough to be back in there because 10 more Adrianas can pop up. And what's interesting is that girls went missing. And I would like to think that when you see young ladies missing, given Adriana's situation, you'll be rushing to the media, have your little tick outlet, TICK outlets, and fleas saying, well, listen, we have to do something here. This situation with children going missing in Guyana is alarming, and Dina Prasad will come out and show that she's so careful and caring and pure, will say the Minister of Education, that, we can't have this happening. You were silent because you actually do not care about people. You do not care about young people. You care about political power, which gives you economic wealth. You use your office for economic gain. That's what you all do. And so I went to the funeral, having to ponder quite a bit, but I decided to go because there's certain environments that I do not function well in, and funerals are one of them. Especially that funeral, I was so angry that I didn't want to be there because I told you the things that I have in my mind to deal with people in a particular way that I really don't want to be reminded of certain situations. That's a child. I saw that as a daughter of mine in that casket. I observed for a while, and I knew that none of the regional representatives, be it Indar, who lives over there, he lives in Region 3, Priyamanik Chand, Irfan Ali, none of you would have gone there. Vinya Prasad would not have gone because Vinya, you went to City Stand Sniffer Dogs. How could it be possible that none of you, worst, Irfan's wife, you still don't need to be there? Because in your mind, I could tell, you know that you'll be rejected. We have to therefore investigate and interrogate this situation to know why would you think that this crowd was going to reject you if you came to the funeral? If you had done all, Irfan, and you would have left no stone unturned, would the crowd, with the people who were there, would they have rejected you? But in crossing the Denmark Harbor Bridge, I saw that there were policemen there stationed. As long as you were red on a motorcycle, they pulled the guys over, had them in a corner. You know why? Because you wanted to, again, stereotype to suggest that any young man on a motorcycle who is of African descent, wearing red on that day, saying justice for Adriana, is a scrapehead, as you all want to call them. So you've used this term scrapehead to speak specifically to African descendants, young men in particular. And the African descendants who support y'all, who want to be ignorant, because they're not ignorant. They want to pretend they're ignorant. They do not see the stereotypical way where you're tagging people, you're branding people with certain things, and then you treat them that way. They don't want to see that because if they see that, then their financial benefits would not accrue. They wouldn't be getting contracts and they wouldn't be getting all kinds of stuff. So they have to kiss your toes. I sat there and I said, I will see if any one of them will show up here. Why were you unwelcome? Why did you feel unwelcome? Because you know that what you did what you failed to do is still within the hearts of people. We haven't forgotten. That's why you couldn't show up there 8 weeks later. You couldn't come because you know that we did not forget what you did. You think we forgot? Do you believe that we forgot when Irfan Ali would have raised his hand? I did enough. Huh? You think we forgot, Mr. Belieber? We forgot
Mr.
this?
President, with regards to the Adriana Young case,
No,
we know that the
I'm
Mr.
not going. I'm not
McCoy
going.
Will the FBI be asked
I am
to
not going
assist?
to. I'm not going to belabel this point anymore. Everything that I've committed to in the case, we brought in the independent pathologists. They have done their work. There's an independent investigator in. I've done my. I've done what I said I would have done. The political handlers are now at work aggressively. Let the political handlers deal with what they
So
want.
the FBI wouldn't be asked, in addition to Mr. McCoy.
I have already done all of that.
You think we forgot that? You think we've forgotten that? You did all you have to do. You won't be labeled instead of saying belabor. You believe we've forgotten your attitude? He did, said Ali, all that he had to do. And he did not include bringing the FBI, the CIA, Scotland Yard, or any other reputable investigative body to this country. He brought one retired Royal Canadian Mounted Police investigator, one who came as a private contractor. That's what he brought. And who said that there should have been professional divers at a swimming pool that's 8 feet deep. When Lionel Laku Pool was one of the deepest pools in this country, about 10 to 15, about 12 to 15 feet deep. As far as I'm aware, it may be deeper than that. But you could correct me. Lionel Laku Pool was pretty deep. And you could put, according to what one man told me, because I did it in other places, you could put a coin, a 25-cent piece in the pond, you'll see it on a bright day. But you couldn't see an entire person in Adriana standing there based on the position you had her in. And you honestly think that people will forget what y'all did? I will never forget. I shall never forget y'all under any circumstance until I see justice being served and you're having to answer and pay for what you did. I will never forget you. Never. I sat there when I saw that they had to head to the funeral, to the burial site, the cemetery. You have a family having to walk through bushmen, have to walk on tombs, trying to make their way a broken bridge. You are the most disgraceful. Irfan Ali lives in Region 3. And in the region where Irfan Ali lives, in this area, you cannot find a proper bridge to cross to go into the cemetery to lay that child to rest, as they call it. You are a disgrace. Fixing a bridge wouldn't even cost $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. But you chose to punish the family, the bush they had to go through. You chose to show the family that you will do nothing. And you think people will support you still? If anybody still supports the PPP, I'm saying again, you're murderers. That's what you are. Anyone who supports this clan of criminals, you are murderers. Because you know what happened to this child. You heard someone who's purported to be the owner, Bojana and Bola, on some show. He didn't come to the studios, came and see it wasn't him. Saying that two people were searching the pool on that day. And he said there was a certain shallow part. You idiot. Who has to search a shallow part of a pool to find a person? Who does that? This is the kind of disrespect you're getting from these people. That the person who was teaching people to swim and another person would have been searching the shallow part. He said nothing about a lifeguard. The owner, in reference to this, brought there was some Zoom meeting and they said he's there. He hasn't come to say he's not him. So I'm saying based on this recording that I heard, this piece, the person said it was him. He said, that person said, who's claimed to be the owner, that two people were searching for Adriana on the 23rd, and they were both searching in the shallow part alone. Now, please tell me, why would you search? Why would you search in the shallow section of this pool? Why?
Management. I
Look,
said, we're going now with the cameras. There's a female washroom here, there's a bar here. The management explained to me that when you come and if you're going to use the pool, and as you can see, you see the pool here clear, like when the family said they went in.
okay, so that's the shallow part. Very critic, Mikhail, you say you see the pool here clear, that's the shallow part. Who in their right mind, in the day, who's searching for this child, would have to go into that part to search? The police should have arrested him immediately after he said that, because it shows that there has to be something wrong with this boy. Who would go into the shallow part of a pool where you can see clearly at night? No water is cloudy there, according to critic, and search for her. But they wouldn't go into the deep part. You have disrespected us even further, and you expect people to vote for you. I want to ask you a question, because after they went through the bush, they had to cross the broken bridge in the burial ground. They had to, if you see you saw the video of how the men had to be trying to bend themselves in that kind of position to get this casket across there. And I saw that even in the cemetery, the PPP would let your relatives who you love so much, because I don't really pay attention to that, but I'm saying how some people are. They'll leave it to be overrun by bushes, bees, snakes. They don't care. And then I noticed that, of course, in this week, the results of the National Grade 6 examination, which is just an absolute nonsense to me, but they're read. I'm asking you to tell me, please, did you hear Priya Manikchan, as the Minister of Education, paid to be one, make special mention of Adriana, who lost her life in a most unfortunate circumstance? Did you hear Priya Manikchan say anything about Adriana? Please tell me. Did you hear finale when he spoke about the results of National Grade 6 doesn't mark the end of your life or determine your future? Did Air finale say, and I would like to remember this little girl, Ariana, as he can't even say her name correctly, who lost her life in a tragic way? Did Irfan say anything? Did they mention this girl's name? Did they? Do you know why? Because when people despise you, they would not say your name. Always remember that. Those who hate me, they didn't want to hear my name. And I know quite a few of y'all. The people who hate my guts, they wish I were dead. So when you say my name, I don't want to hear my name. You know people like that? That's what you're dealing with here. Where they hate this family so much because they know that this family has put such a dent on the election's hope that they hate them. That's what you're seeing here. They've seen this family went as far as to fight to say, well, if you don't want to do the second autopsy or allow us to do it, we'll take our body overseas. And they did that. And I'm thankful for the US ambassador who facilitated this to the US embassy to get them out again. Because I'm telling you, they didn't go to just a party or to just have a nice time at the independence. No, no, no. No. I can tell you because I know US functions. I told you before, if the US allows the family to travel, it'd not be for some ordinary reason. They got to go with Dr. Terry. Dr. Terry said that she would not rule this to be any death by drowning. Because of course you don't look at somebody and say what Caleb said. We all agreed that before we got into this, you drowned. I take the time to come back here tonight for Guyanese to see what the People's Pathetic Party is about, where they would punish a family because they want to show you with the state asset, the state funds, they won't even use it. So no burial ground. They knew you had newsroom and all whoever else it is, or all these media outlets there. If they knew that they cared so much about this child, would they not want the state to see, the world to see, the Ghana to see the funeral of this beautiful young lady who would have died so tragically? No, no. Because what Irfan Ali and Barrett and others want to show you is that if you want to make them upset, they can withhold our money, they can withhold it to punish you. So the walkway, the path into Virgin Eugene, the tarmac, no fixing. You walk through mud. They don't care. They do not care. To get to the cemetery, mud, bush. Snakes could have been in there. They don't care. Wasps or bees could have been there. They do not care. And then they want to tell you that you shouldn't talk about Adriana because what I'm doing here, you're using it for political points. To hell with you, Barrett, and all y'all morons. I don't care because it should be a political matter. Adriana must be at the top of the ballot. That must be number one. The fact that an 11-year-old girl was murdered and put in the pool and y'all chose to not deal with this issue being dealt with, it should be mentioned all the time. And you better pray I don't get to the House Assembly because if I get there, I will stand and tell the world that I stand here today and I want to open by speaking to the situation and what y'all did and why you, some of y'all, not all of you, some of y'all should be in the darkest part of a prison until you die and rot in the cell. So pray that I don't get there because it would be nice for y'all. When you could be spiteful towards an 11-year-old child who's dead, you are another category of evil. You have just had an upgrade to your wickedness. I thought that you were as low as you could be, but you just had an upgrade to wickedness. When you could be this way towards a child, even on the day of a funeral, it tells me a whole lot about y'all. I would have had police escorts if I were the president. Police must escort her on a motorcycle. The road must be done properly. Fix the cemetery, read it properly. Even if I didn't go there, because I know people reject me, I would ensure that she was treated in such a manner, the respect and regard for the family, that would know that's just because they don't want to cause a problem, I didn't show up. But I would show you with my actions that I intended to do everything possible to make the family comfortable. But I could tell you as well that if I were president, Mandel, Smith, all of y'all, whoever you are, I told her, even the cockroach in the hotel would have been arrested and had to give an answer by now. And don't talk about the owner. Because the police would have to tell me, how could certain people, like the woman, have access up and down? She's everywhere. Every photograph is everywhere. Why did she have access and the father of this child didn't? Why did critic Michael Rodriguez have the right to go into this place when the father couldn't? And why is it that when the police were standing right there when the men were fighting for the liquor. The police in turn say, "Oh, look, this girl in this pool." Why? You'd have to tell us. This one here?
To Paul, myself, attorney at law Darren Wade, so Brian, Amicia, Amika, the grandmother, the whole family. We had a meeting with the three forensic pathologists that the government provided for the family. Now, the moment I walked into that meeting, like I continue to share my views that before even going to the meeting,
Okay, you heard what Caleb said. There are three forensic pathologists that the government provided for the family. If this fella, because everything has got holes in it, and when things have holes in them, you have to ask yourself why. This fella Caleb said that they had a meeting with the three forensic pathologists that the government provided for the family. Did they? Because I'm seeing on social media where somebody's saying that an attorney paid for this person, Collins, to come here. So which government provided the attorney, the forensic pathologist? Three. If the government provided three forensic pathologists for the family, then it means that the family didn't have a pathologist of their own, of their choosing. Okay, I didn't say that. Caleb went live to say that the government provided three forensic pathologists for the family. Let me play it for you again.
to Paul, myself, attorney at law Darren Wade, so Brian, Amicia, Amika, the grandmother, the whole family. We had a meeting with the three forensic pathologists that the government provided for the family.
Did you hear him say that? Did you all hear him say that the government provided three forensic pathologists for the family? Is that what happened? Is that actually what happened? Why would you say that, Caleb? What role did the government play in providing three forensic pathologists for the family? What role? How can you arrive at this conclusion? I thought that there were two, which would be Paul from Barbados, May Motley Boy would have been sent here. That's the first one they found of on it. And that should tell you something already. The second would have been uh, the one from Mount Sinai who can't be found at Mount Sinai, Rodner. But Collins, I thought, was the one that the family chose. But now I'm hearing that the family was provided with this pathologist. This is becoming more and more interesting. And I promised you all that as time unfolds, I would unfold as well and revisit, make known to you all these holes in the stories, bit by bit. Why did Caleb say what he did? Why did you say that the government provided three forensic pathologists for the family? Why did you say that? What made you say that? The government provided Glenn Rodner, Dr. Gary L. Collins, and Dr. Cara Paul. Really? Let me help you. For Dr. Paul, let me put the photograph back up here. For this one named Paul to come from Barbados, he would have had to have been allowed to do so by the medical board here and maybe it's in Barbados, the hospital. All of them. They can't just pop up in this country like that to perform an autopsy because they're crossing a border to engage in a practice that the medical boards of their countries must verify and validate. If the government provided forensic pathologists, we want to know who from the family had a choice to make in reference to which of these they need. Because the family never requested 3 forensic pathologists, never. If Caleb said that there were 3 forensic pathologists that the government provided for the family never asked for 3 pathologists. How then can the government decide on who should come here? I want to leave you with this. Pay careful attention to what the People's Pathetic Party is doing in this situation. Because their hope is that along with what happens at GCOM, they'll have a way to just get in at all cost. They will have a way to find a way somehow where you supporters of theirs would forget about Adriana and and just vote for them. Because killing this girl by whoever's hand, and then having faith in a party that will be covered up is no big deal. So let me leave you with this. There's a pattern that's developing in our country, and that pattern is based on the belief of the People's Pathetic Party, where men feel as though they can do anything to women. And because they have observed the track record of the PPP, where you do things and make one phone call, no problem. They don't care about females. So you're seeing a pattern developing where men are doing all manner of things, including the situation whereby somebody said this girl car was driving in one direction, ended up in an L, a 90 degree, without any skid mark on the road. The car was driving this way and just straight in the trench like that. Driving whatever it is, in the trench. No skid mark, nothing. And there is no outcry from Vinny Prasad because there's a pattern developing in this country where if you understand criminology, they tell you it, that there are people who would see something or assume something's happening and they copy it. They call copycats. So they see a crime being committed. Oh, maybe I could try that and I'll get away with it. You have twisted people in your society. And if men can observe, perverts can observe that they can do things or something could be done to Adriana and nothing comes out of it, as far as they can see, they will seek to replicate, duplicate, do something probably similar to it if possible. The People's Pathetic Party is allowing in our society a dangerous precedence that they cannot stop because they've demonstrated to us that neglect for females is the benchmark in reference to women's health and well-being. That's the manifesto. That the part of the manifesto is to show no care for females. The Amla situation, no care for females. It doesn't matter. Now you have a cricketer from the West Indies who's been accused of a whole lot of stuff. People are saying, if not, this is crazy. If what is being said there is so, this is insane. Our country is going down a path. I'm telling you all that if you don't stop this, you shall regret it within 2 years after the elections. If you don't stop this, I'm telling you, within 2 years, you shall regret. You shall regret it. Because they're showing you that there's a pattern. Charan Das cost the lady in India. Nothing. Still being paid. O.C. Rogers, an apologist to the PPP, slapped the girl in Babis. Nothing. This is normal behavior. Then it escalated to Adriana's situation. Nothing. The little girl who's missing, 13-year-old girl, kidnapped by an adult male for 7 days, no big issue. You have cameras all around the place. They didn't even go to say, listen, let me search the cameras around and see if I find this girl. No problem. They didn't even take the time to say, let me search cameras to find. Let's search. We have eyes on the city to see when the car speed, but you have eyes to see if the girl going somewhere. Nothing. The PPP do not care about females. And the females who are there because they know it's either you give your body to get money in general, or you are faithful and cost people out on their behalf to get money, because it's all about transactions here. You do whatever it takes to get something. That's your. If they stop giving a contract, you leave tomorrow, because contract is the new deal. You don't get it on merit that you could do something, you can build something. You have a construction company, you're known to have done proper work. No, you get it because it's just a transaction. If you all vote for these people and encourage them to go back, which I doubt will ever happen, you'll regret it. Take it from me. And thank you for your time. I'll see you tomorrow morning, y'all willing. Bye.